Hey everyone, Saoirse here from the top of Ireland on the land of Tirconnell. Greetings. And so today on the live, we have a very special guest coming up, and her name is Julia Langley. And she used to work with Cirque du Soleil, and she's a voice coach. And so she helps people become better speakers and, of course, singers and performers. So that's cool. I read the intro here. It's rather long, but the important thing is, like, she was with Cirque du Soleil for 20 different countries in the USA. And let's see, she helps speakers and coaches overcome nervousness and fear to give confident, commanding keynotes so that they get big paydays and that they deserve top tier clients and be recognized worldwide for their expertise. With over 15 years of featured as a singer in Cirque du Soleil, she has performed on stages in 20 different countries and in all 50 the United States. So I let her do more. That's kind of the long one, but she's been on a lot of television shows and interviews worldwide. So she's really great. And so I'm going to bring her on now. So there you are. Hi, Julia.
Hi, good morning from the US.
Hi, and good afternoon from Ireland. So if anyone's watching this live on the replay, just put hashtag replay and put any comments on there. We're glad to see those too. And we'll rebroadcast. It's on YouTube now as a live, and I'll reformat it as a video later. So that's good too. So what's going on with you, Julia?
Oh, it's February. We've kicked off the new year, 2024. It came in like with the vengeance, I have to tell you. But it's really a good thing. The energy is great. Business is going well, expansion. So we're looking forward to a great year with performing for success, which is the business that I do for ambitious speakers.
Aye. So yeah, so going back with like how you got into it, everyone's gonna want to know, like, okay, what is Cirque du Soleil? And you were there with them for 15 years, so that's a lot of troops that you're with on different shows. So did you do a different show every season, and how long ago was that?
Not necessarily. It depended on what was running and what they needed. There was one signature show that I was really a part of, and that was the Broadway series show called Jungle Fantasy, actually. Which is
I remember that one.
Yeah, it's an arm, part of Cirque du Soleil. They own the show. And so I did the Broadway series tour. I did the world tour of that. But in between, when that show isn't running, I was pulled in to do other shows as well. So I've run the gamut. I've been in every costume. Not to mankind, and sung all different music. It's definitely been a journey, a growing journey for me, and a lot of fun and a lot of work at the same time. And I think that that's one of the things that people don't realize. They see the glamorous side of it, but don't understand the sacrifices and the work that actually go into being a professional performer, a career performer. So
a lot of work in the background, really hard work. Sleeping on stage.
Yeah, but dedication as well, like a true commitment is required to it. And and a certain amount of resilience as well.
Aye. And we kind of know what that's like here in Ireland with, the river dance and all the work that was in that. And then Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance and all of that. It really was a lot of work involved with that. And a lot of stage work and warm-ups and everything with it. And so I was wondering, if you were doing all those different costumes, did you do the airbrush for your makeup, or how did you do that?
Well, it's not airbrush. I mean, it's actual stage makeup, and they tell you what they want it to look like, and you wind up doing it, and it just becomes part of getting ready. So you get ready to go to work. I just happen to put on lots and lots of makeup and glitter to go to work.
Right. Yeah, I know, especially for the lighting and such.
Yeah.
In Branson and in Las Vegas, a lot of them, they'll have the airbrush. They just spray it on real quick when they need to do a quick change. And I was like, that sounds like, I wish I could do that every morning, just
Just
like
spray your face
and
on.
stuff.
I don't think it's quite that easy, all right? I don't use a spray brush, but, it's, and it depends on if you have a makeup artist that's doing your makeup every day. It depends on what show you're in. I mean, I was in Branson for a while and have been in Vegas too, but, yeah, but ultimately you learn what they want and then you work with people to learn how to do it and make it happen. So.
Right. That's good. All right. So moving on. So how did you get into being a voice coach that you're doing now?
Well, I've always been a vocal coach. So when I wasn't on the road with Cirque, I would work in which I was living in Florida, or I'm a Florida resident. So I would go back home to Florida and I would coach vocals, but it was pure vocals and it was for singers as well. So I've been a coach a really long time and had a successful vocal coaching business. Teaching people how to sing, basically, and be on stage for singing. As my career evolved and worked with Cirque all of those years, I had a really bad accident in 2019. And I was already at that point 18 years in with Cirque, and I was looking for just not a pivot, not a change, because I love my work and I love what I do. But I wanted an expansion of it because I had reached my peak as a professional in that area. So I wanted to grow and expand. And so I had this accident, and most people want to look at I got hit by a car while I was riding my bicycle. I got,
Oh, wow.
what in the States, we call it being T-boned. They hit me from my left side
Oh, my
on the hood
goodness.
out in the middle of the street. So I wasn't just tapped. It was like a real life-threatening situation. And I had all kinds of injuries, head injuries, spinal cord injuries. And every year after that, I had a surgery, 4 surgeries for
Oh,
4
wow.
years after that. So I spent 4 years, and you don't ever go back to what you were. It's almost a rebirth and a learning of where you want to go and who you are. So I view that accident, instead of viewing it like, oh, this happened to me, I actually viewed it as an opportunity to move into a new version of myself, basically be better than who I was, and learn and grow and expand my business as well. We came out of 19 and went straight into the pandemic, right? So that's
Aye.
another year where entertainers were the first to get the axe, right? So we all got
Yep.
laid off by Cirque du Soleil. I've got my letter in the mail, right? Thanks for your service. So that's another whole year of planning, of changing. And I just looked at it as an opportunity to really step into this new version. So that was the birth of starting to expand my business. I had always worked with singers. I had worked with speakers as well, because the training is very similar, to be quite honest with you. Using your voice, being on stage, it doesn't matter if you're speaking or if you're singing, or even really if you're expressing yourself through dance or music. The techniques are very similar in breathing, in how you come across in
Aye.
relating. So I just expanded to include speakers and to go global with my business, and to work with ambitious people who are committed, who really want to step into that next version of themselves and expand exponentially. And I've seen so much success with it. And actually, it's the success of the clients that drives me to continue my business.
Aye. That's grand. So tell us about what kind of clients that you had, like any really good success stories recently or something as such.
Well, yeah, and I actually have a lot of different clients on a lot of different levels. So I worked with one client who literally, she would hide in the bathroom when it came time to step on stage. Like, she could not get past her fear. She was so terrified. And it is the number one fear in the
Aye.
world, right up there with just above spiders, the fear of spiders and speaking in public.
Aye.
She is now in a university choir. She just got accepted into a major program for, commercial music. So she's gone from hiding in the bathroom to stepping onto the stage as a career. That's huge. That is a
Aye.
complete transformation of an individual, and it's
And what
amazing
was
to
the
me.
time period for
I
that then?
have, yeah. And I have an author that I work with, and
Oh,
she
yeah, but, I mean, what was
has
the
not
time
only
period between when she came to you being afraid like that and then where she's at now successful with it? What was the time period for the
well,
transformation?
and and this is an extreme case, okay? She's an
Okay.
extreme case. So we're looking at 2.5 years
Okay.
of movement
Aye.
through this, okay? 2.5 years of movement. It can happen faster than that, all right? But
Aye.
she was on the of the spectrum of performers, like, we had showdowns trying to get her out of the bathroom, showdowns from love on my part, but I couldn't be a weak coach. I had to be a strong coach, but I had to
Right.
relate to her for her to understand that you're not going to die. The earth is not going to open up and you're not going to fall in it. I know you want that to happen, but it's not going to. So this is what we have to do. And she learned resilience and strength and belief in herself. And ultimately, no matter if I work with authors, singers, someone trying to get a six-figure corporate job. I just had a client that I work with on a job interview, and he's in the top 2 right now. So we're waiting to hear on that. But it doesn't really matter because it all goes back to confidence and belief in yourself. It goes back to how you feel about what you're doing and how you portray that to others
Aye.
and how you relate. Mhm.
So the transformation has to start on the inside then?
It does. It does with everybody, and it's really funny because I discovered this, when I first started coaching. I think I'm just teaching people how to use their voice, but I started seeing people change and evolve. I have one client that I work with that I actually watched as he started developing his voice. I watched him find his tribe of people. So a person that didn't really fit in all of a sudden finds their people through acting and using their voice. They found a group of people that are supportive. So when he started finding that, he started becoming more confident and more bold. He started stepping
Right.
out more. He started realizing that he could find success in that. And as you make these small changes, your boldness grows, your confidence grows. And now I look at him now and he's a completely different person. That's a transformation. That's a
Aye.
transformation from being lost, insecure, immature, not knowing, not thinking you don't even have, there's no one out there like you in the world. And then you start to realize that there's so many people out there that have the same struggles or whatever, and they're stepping into that great version of who they are. And that
Right.
why I do what I do. It's the transformation that I see happen. And I help people transform by doing. So I use the stage as a method to show them
Aye.
that they have unique gifts. They just got to know what they are and show them to the world.
Aye. That's it. Because, if you keep it all inside, you have a gift. And if you keep it inside, then no one else benefits from it, including yourself. But
That's
when
right.
you go ahead and get out there and like take the bushel off and let it shine, then then not only do you feel better because you're into who you really are, but then you can start helping other people because they'll be attracted to that light and that shine, that sparkle.
That's exactly right. It is an attraction. It's an organic attraction that you start to draw people into your sphere. They start to notice you. They start to respect you. They start to say, hey, she's got some good ideas, or he's got some great points that he's making. Let me listen more to what they're trying to say. And I see it happen. I see it with the people I work with. That just gives me such a sense of accomplishment for myself, and it's what keeps me, it's what feeds me and
Aye.
keeps me going as a coach, is knowing that
Aye.
I'm making a difference and helping, not just making,
Exactly.
but actually helping people find that gift that we all have one. It's
Aye.
just
That's
looking within.
exactly why we do what we do, is because we want to help other people be successful and walk into their full potential and their gifting. And that's such a reward there, just even on our part, that we get out of it, is like seeing them succeed, helping them succeed. I mean, that makes it all worth it, really.
It really does. It really does, and I found that so many people think their gifts are actually curses. They actually think they have these things about them, but instead of being able to turn them into something good, they look at them, and I went through this myself, instead of looking at my own personal gifts of being transpersonal, being able to help people change, and being, listen, step into your greatness and stop being average. All right.
Aye.
I looked at that
Right.
as, oh my God, I'm too harsh, or oh my God, I'm going to be judged for that. I even did it to myself. So it was a learning process for me to understand that that's actually a gift that I have. I did a performance Saturday night, and there was on stage, and there was a lot of us on stage, and it was more like a concert, right? A friends of concert. And we are all sitting up there, and there was a lady behind me. She's not really a singer. Everyone on the stage was singers or speakers or
Um,
whatever, right? So what contribution is she making? She felt like she didn't really have one. She was there to support her husband.
right.
A song started playing. The musicians started playing this song, and I heard her go, I know the sign language. She was behind me, and I could hear her under her breath, like, we're on stage, right? She starts signing
Aye.
the song while she's sitting on there. And I saw it, and I moved so the audience could see her signing. She's sitting on a stool signing right here. And I touched her on the back, and I said to her, you need to stand up and show them. And slowly she got up out of her seat, and she walked to the front of the stage, and she signed in American Sign Language the entire song. I was almost in tears. Now, that's who I am as a coach. You need to do this. Now, she could have very easily, because she's shy, and
Mhm.
her husband's like gregarious. He didn't. She's not like that at all. So she's a little bit in her shell, right?
Right.
But I touched her and I said, do this do this. The audience needs to see it. And she did it, and it just brought the audience to tears, because it was
Aw.
authentic, it was real, and it was her gift. So I use that to show that the voice doesn't even always have to be heard. Sometimes it can be felt and seen if you use it
Right.
in the right way.
That's
So,
grand.
yeah, that's what
And that was just at the
that's
weekend last, and it just happened,
yeah, that was
right?
Saturday night, this past Saturday
Aye, there we
night.
go.
Mhm.
Grand. Can't get much fresher than that
Yeah.
for a hot off the press kind of thing there. So if someone wants to work with you, like what's kind of the journey, and how long do you think it would take?
Well, it depends on what they wanna accomplish, certainly, and I have different levels of
Aye.
programs. I'm actually gonna launch a sort of like, a touch-on program, group program, April 1st. It's gonna start, and it really it's an introductory course, basically, to introduce you to all the aspects of using your voice and being on stage, and it also includes a hot seat where you actually get to step up there and practice what you're learning. Someone that wants a deeper dive into this, I do a 6-month program or a
Okay.
12-month program, and it's up to them, the time commitment that they're willing to put into it, certainly, but, and it also, again, depends on where you're coming from, and I can't say
Mm.
that until I assess really where you are in your journey of using your voice and stepping out into your boldness and your confidence. So I will have to see people one-on-one to make certainly personal suggestions, because my one-on-one program is personalized. All right. It's not cookie cutter. There are
Right.
certain protocols I follow, but I'm not going to hand you a guide and say, go do it and then come back to me later. It just doesn't work like that. We talk about what makes you special, and then and what you're not so good at. And then we push that to the back and we bring those strengths forward. So that's what a program with me looks like.
Okay.
And I'm not a yes man. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, you're so amazing. I'm going to say to you, this is
Ah,
good.
yes. You're marvelous, marvelous.
I know. It's funny. I did a show one time, and I had someone perform in the show. This was her first performance of this kind. And she walked across the stage with her shoulders slumped and her head down. Now we're
Oh,
talking
no.
about a beautiful girl. She's beautiful and
Right.
uber talented. But no one in that audience is going to listen to what she's saying because of the way she walked out on stage. And I
Right.
told her, I said, you cannot walk on my stage with your shoulders slumped. Hold your shoulders back and be proud of who you are. She went home and cried. I know, because I talked to her family. She went home and cried. She was very upset. It hurt her feelings. But she came back the next day with her shoulders held back and high and has never slumped since. And she
Oh,
is
wow.
a rock star. She's a rock
Wow.
star. One change changed her life.
Right.
So, yeah, I use that as an example. I'm going to tell you the straight and narrow of it. But when you're hiring a coach, that's really what you want anyway.
Right. Definitely. I mean, that's what you're paying, somebody for, is
That's right.
to move it out of the comfort zone and get up there. So there you go.
There you go.
So,
That's
I
right.
mean, what good would it do if you're paying somebody to make you better and have a transformation, but then they're not pushing you to change and you're just staying there doing that, Years ago, yeah, I mean, like a galaxy far, far away, yeah, long time ago. When I was a wee lass, my wire made me go to an adult Dale Carnegie course. Couldn't believe
Yes.
it. And like I'm not even barely out of primary level education, like I'm just, right there in the mid years. And I mean, I was afraid to stand in front of class, much less in front of all these adults in this class
Right.
and stuff. It was like really mad. But, I went through the whole training and learned a lot. And actually, it really did change me and move me forward in it. Now, I didn't stay in it for a long time because I ended up doing a lot of research and other things in the background. And
Right.
then, like with my story, a lot of people know that, my all 7 areas of my life went banjaxed all at once. And,
Mhm.
kind of like you with the accident, only I mean, I don't know, like every area, family, spiritual, everything just fell apart, and I lost everything. And anyway, and so then how's that do for your confidence? And and then you're going after to get a new job and, you're too old and too overqualified or, and you're competing with the person interviewing you is like younger than your children, or something, like where are you going to get and how's that do for your confidence and stuff? And so I had to go back and remember that and remember. And it actually took a couple of years to get back to where, even where I was before. I could have used a coach like you, really. I was like, that would have been really encouraging, because I really needed it. Because I don't think, I mean, I thought everything, you're so low. I mean, if somebody's at the point where they're that depressed and lost, they're not going to be reaching out to somebody. You have to almost have to go in and pull them, to get them
That's
out of
right.
themselves to, reach out to them
That
because they,
you're absolutely right, and there's a lot of times there's going to be resistance there because they don't know if because the fear. When you have fear, I find a lot of times people are triggered by talking about fear. So if I talk about that, oftentimes they even shrink even more, because they're
yeah,
afraid to face it. So it is a slippery slope as a coach. But and so for me, there has to be that desire. There has to be a desire to be better. And there has to be a knowledge within someone that says, I don't have to stay in this spot, but I don't know how to get out of it on my own.
right.
And that is my client. That's my client. It's like, I know I can do this. I know I can do this, but I don't have the clarity. I don't have my message in place. I don't know how to execute it. I don't know how to tell others. And
Aye.
these are the people that come to me. And you know what? If I didn't see the transformation, I might not believe it. But I discovered it organically because I started seeing it with people I was working with just singing. Never mind going out and speaking and doing, sharing your gifts with the world. I was just teaching them how technically use their voice without hurting themselves physically. And then I started seeing what I was doing was really changing people's lives and making them and shaping them, and then they were growing. And it was a little bit mind-blowing to me in the beginning. Now at this point, I'm like, I know the difference that it makes for somebody. And
Aye.
and I have clients of all ages, and I'll say this too. I have a client in his 70s right now, and he is
Okay.
thriving. And we started working together, and he's gotten a client regularly since we started working together because
Aye, wow, that's good.
because he changed, just tweaked. We tweaked
Uh-huh.
what he was doing.
So
It wasn't a
sometimes it's
fundamental change in who he was. It was
right.
just making him better, making who he
But it's
was.
it's not sometimes a big change. It's just a matter of doing a few little changes, a few little tweaks, like you said, and then
That's
that makes a big difference at the end.
That's right, and embodying that. It's not just about
Aye.
knowing how to do it, but learning how to embody it and then execute it so your
What's your
audience.
one tip that you'd give to the audience today?
Now that's a great question. What is my one
Mhm.
tip? Oh, there's so many tips that I give. It's, Saoirse, yeah, I'm rarely at a loss for words. Now I'm searching for my one tip right now. I have so many tips that I throw out to people.
Aye.
Um, I guess my one tip is not to, and this goes a little bit deep. S- Stop throwing out buzzwords, and I don't mean you, but I mean everyone. Stop using buzzwords like authenticity, powerful, all right, and start embodying what is personal to you, all right? That confidence and that boldness. So, and be open to understanding that you might not be what you think you are. All right. So let me say this in another way: be teachable, be
Aye.
open, and be teachable. Because one of
Aye.
the things that I run into all the time is that people say to me, "Yeah, well, um, I'm fearless." And then they get up on the stage and they're a hot mess. They're a disaster on the stage. Yeah, you're fearless, but you're not relating. You don't think about your audience. You're just you're not clear. You're not. So I think that that's the best way. So in clarity terms, so I've kind of thought through the process here. In clarity terms, be teachable, be
Aye.
open, be teachable. That's my
Aye.
best tip
Brilliant.
that I have.
Okay, grand. So, I just want to say if any of this speaks to you and you might be looking for a coach such as Julia here, we have a Linktree address here. It's rather convoluted, but because it's
Well,
Linktree, but
it's
I'll put it in the comments too, so you can copy it and access.
yeah, well,
But she does have a website, but
you.
it's under construction right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I did a rebranding at the beginning of 2024, so we're in the process of doing that, and it'll be launched on April 1st. So, but this link tree has all of my information. It has all of my social media handles, as well as upcoming events and things that I'm involved in. So there's ways to find me. So if you just go to Linktree, Julia Langley, you're able to find everything that I'm doing there.
Aye, grand. All right. So the last thing, then is, are you reading any special book or listening to anything or watching anybody right now that
I'm
speaks
always
to
reading
you?
a special book. Always, always have a book because I'm a reader and I love to read. And right now, and actually, because I just got back from Bali.
Yeah.
So I like to read. I like to have a book in my hand, but sometimes it's to have to carry it around is trouble. So I use audiobooks occasionally. So I have been listening to the 21 Laws of Power,
Okay.
and it's interesting. I agree with some of it. Some of it's out there. It's a very controversial book. So I'm getting through it, and then I'll write my own notes based on how they approach the topic of power.
Aye.
Very interesting.
All right, sounds good. So
Yeah.
if you're not familiar with it, like look it up, I guess, on Amazon and such. And of course, if I was going to Bali, I would be listening to South Pacific on them.
Listen, I get to listen to all that with my work. So
Yeah. We were doing my auntie knew a lot of famous people, and my does too. And but we went to the South Pacific with Robert Goulet was the main character, the Frenchman, and it was really fun to meet him and everything. He was a really nice man.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Very
there we go.
cool.
And you probably met tons of famous people worldwide. So
I've met a few. Yeah, I actually had
Right.
to sing. I don't know, but in the States, there's an older singer who sang the song "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree," and so I had to
Right.
perform "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree" with Brenda Lee in the audience, and she was the
Oh,
original
wow.
singer of the song. Yeah, that was a lot of pressure.
But
But it was fun, and I got to meet her afterwards, so
I guess so. The only
yeah.
way that I remember that one is the singing Santas, That
Yeah, oh
was
yeah, rocking around.
yeah. It totally wore it out for me. But like one time I was working at ICE and which like the ice sculptors, from time anyway, and they had this tape going and we listened to it from September to February. And it would play all the Christmas tracks. And if I hear anything that was on that track, it's like I totally cringe. Like, I'm not too much of that. Like,
Right, that's funny. Yeah, there are certain sounds you have a visceral reaction. I have my alarm clock is like that. And there is a thing as audio branding because the sounds trigger certain things, and that's a whole topic for
definitely.
today. But I had the alarm that I set when I was touring with Cirque because we would not get in until midnight, and then I'd have to get up at 2 a.m. to go catch a flight. So you're just perpetually tired all the time. That alarm, when I hear it still now, I'm like I get this tired, sick feeling comes over me. I'm like, oh, I got to get up and go, catch a flight at 2 a.m. So, yeah,
Here we go again. Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
So now you can travel on your own schedule, on your own time. So that's good. So
Yes,
anyway,
definitely.
thanks a lot for joining us today. I don't want to go too long.
Yeah.
Again, the link there is Linktree, Julia Langley there on them. We'll also put it in the comments. If you're catching this on the replay, just put #replay. Any comments and questions, and we'll get it to her. And her new website will be julialangley.com when it's up. So that will be available in April 1st of all days. Can you believe it? So
Exactly. April Fools, it's not up until
yeah, there
April
we go.
2nd.
So there we go.
It's just my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, Grant. So, all right. Well, Sinead Falls, Slananis, and bye for now.